What's up, people? I got nothing to talk about right now. Actually, I got a shitload to talk about. Just don't want to talk about it right now. So what's going on? I think, what's up, JM? Jake? Thuram, 1984, thank you for being here, brother. Let's see, miss anybody? Nickel Stacking, thank you very much, sir, for being here. Homestead Aquarius, what's up, brothers? Hoping some point through this evening that Ian from Mark Silver will be here, and who else? A whole bunch of people show up from chat once Ian gets here. Oh, hold on. We got Nichols. Nichols wants to show up. What's up, Nickel?
Yo.
You look exceptionally well tonight. At least your picture does. I'm not so sure you do, but the picture looks real nice. Hold on a second here. What do I got here? Oh, shit. Hold on a second, guys. Hey, JM. Need you up here. How do you send an invite? Yeah, I don't know how to send an invite. You don't look so good anymore, Nickel. Shit. I'm not good at this stuff.
Did you get a haircut?
No, it's in a ponytail.
Okay.
Shit. That's the end. Hey, it's Niels Han Dynasty, the name that's on that I go by on all the chats. That is the show's name. I don't know how to do computer stuff or phone stuff, so or else I'd send you that stuff. But I'm like ignorant about computer stuff. Yeah, and we got a couple people on stage already, and several people in chat. You got it?
Hey guys.
Yo.
I got it pinned. What's up, JM?
Good to see you.
I got it pinned at the top of the channel on the live stream. What's up, Chef? Okay, let me go to my channel. At the top in blue, it says Neil Han, and it has a HTTPS thing, StreamYard. You click on that. Yeah, you click on that, and it'll take you to the StreamYard thingy that we're at, the whatever panel or whatever.
Hey Jake and everybody, good to see you.
All right, thanks, brother. All right, you see how low tech Neil is. That's how I text people to come here.
That's okay. You're going through the learning curve pretty quick, I think.
Yeah, this I should have taken advantage of this after the first time I interviewed Ian at the Silver Symposium. But selfishly, and this is where feelings come in. This is why I tell people don't involve feelings in anything, because you screw up when you have feelings. I felt like I did a bad job at that interview, and because of that, I did not show the interview as often as I should, because I felt I looked bad and I did a good job when I should have showed that interview. And then Long Live Coin started doing several interviews with my man here, Ian, and then I got reinvigorated to bring him to the show tonight to do a more proper interview and have you guys here as well, so you can be more interactive with the interview and get more of your questions answered about the osmium and all the deals that Ian has, because Ian has some great prices on precious metals around the board: silver, gold, platinum, as well as osmium. And that's why I'm glad to have him here tonight. Ian, how's it going? We have JM and Nickel stacking on stage, and anyone else who wants to come on as well.
Hi, Ian.
Hello.
Let's see. Stop screen. There we go.
Hey, Neil.
How's it going, brother?
Good, thank you.
I was playing that Osmium commercial from Germany there back to back a little bit before the show started. I like that commercial. Are we having problems with the audio?
Yeah, I'm getting it repeated over.
All right. Let's see. Let me go over, make sure I have my stuff muted. Yeah,
Yours is fine. I think, Ian, you just need to go into settings at the bottom of StreamYard and then go into audio and check echo cancellation. Make sure echo cancellation is checked. And then you should be fine.
Okay. Audio. Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. So there should not be an echo then.
Oh, echo cancel must be off to use stereo. No. Echo cancellation's on.
Good.
Is everything better?
I think so.
Good. Yeah, you sound fine to me.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sounds good here as well.
Great.
So, as I was saying, hey, what's up, Tom? Nice to see you. I'd like to redo the first interview more appropriately than we did at the Silverfest, where I was more starstruck and stupefied and did a bad job with the interview. And I'd like to try and do a better one and have other people on the panel to be able to ask their questions. So that way I don't have to remember relaying all the questions. They can get them answered directly from you about Osmium. So if you'd introduce yourself and tell us a little about yourself, your company, and go with that, and we'll start there, huh? You muted. There you go.
I'm still getting repeated audio streams.
Okay, so then what that means is that you've got a YouTube tab still open and playing. So when you first came to Neil's live stream,
There you go.
YouTube,
That's me.
Yep,
Sorry.
pause it or mute it, and then you're good.
Okay.
You got
My
it.
fault. My bad.
It happens to everybody sooner or later.
That's better. I know what's going on now.
So if I could get you to do a small introductory on yourself and let people know about yourself and your company, how you got started. I guess we could start with that and then maybe open up with some questions from other people, possibly.
Sure. Yeah, that sounds good. So around 2017, I sort of really discovered YouTube. Came across a lot of articles on central banking, fiat currency, sound money, the history of money, what is money. And the more I watched, the more I listened, the more I studied, kept leading me back to I need to get into tangible assets that are private, portable, particularly private, because history just shows us time and times again the average guy, the average girl just gets robbed by government, by the banks over a lifetime. You know, you can work a lifetime and end up with very little, or a lot of people with nothing. You know, just time and time again, pension funds get stolen from, and I don't have to tell you guys listening. It's just horrendous, the crimes against the working person by the fiat currency system. It's just set up. We're set up to fail. So I came to the conclusion that silver, you know, particularly was the answer, precious metals. So I'd start talking to people about this and they would start buying, and some of them heavily. Some would spend like 10, 20, 30,000, you know, they've never even heard of precious metals. So I started talking to them about it. So July 2020, we set up the company to do what we could do. We felt we could bring a fresh edge to the industry, some competition, and just to provide the best service we can. And so, yeah, we started 2020. We're coming up to our 4th year, beginning of August.
So there are other companies in this is your precious metals company, not the
Yes.
crystal. Okay.
Yeah. So the osmium story was, as part of building up the precious metals company, I went to the New Orleans Investment Conference in 2022 as an exhibitor. I'd been in 2021 and I was impressed with what I learned, and a lot of the people there. So we paid a lot of money. We took a booth. I probably shouldn't have done, but I packed my car up full of silver and gold and drove for 3 days down to New Orleans. We set the booth up there, had some friends came and helped, and I think it was about 3 days in, a couple of my friends said, you need to go have a look at this osmium stuff. I don't know, it was quite the word they used, but anyway, and I was skeptical. You know, they had a booth, but they had a little tiny little display cabinet and some little lights spinning around, some little bits of osmium in there. And I was ready just to blow them off, just so, no, this is just rubbish. But they just told me very calmly, very effectively communicated how incredibly rare it was. It's the 8th and finest precious metal that hardly anybody's heard of. That in this crystalline form, only one company has managed to make it to this level. It's incredibly beautiful. It has a unique fingerprint every square meter, 10,000 more recognition points in your fingerprint. And all of these things sort of gel. Oh my gosh, this is such a fusion of what people have been looking for. I mean, people go to crypto route and they look for blockchain and hash graph, proof of work, and, you know, to make something unstealable. And this is a physical code in your hands that's just incredibly beautiful. And the scarcity side is hard to grasp. You know, some estimates, if you mine the whole earth completely till nothing was left, you might get 15 cubic meters. But a practical mined amount will probably be about a cubic meter, around the 23 tons. And then there'll be dribs and drabs, you know, a few 100 kilos a year going forward. But the bulk is going to get turned into this crystalline form. And once it's in this incredibly beautiful crystalline form, it stays in that form. Unlike gold, silver, articles over millennia, they get melted down, you know. And even now, you know, as people trading in, you know, 1,000-ounce silver bars, they get melted down, they get made into rounds and coins. That's a continual recycling process. Whereas with the osmium, once it's crystallized, it's staying in that beautiful form. Once somebody's made a $30,000 watch with an osmium face, that's staying as a watch face. So anyway, I was convinced within a few minutes of talking to them, to the point that I said, I really don't want to leave your booth without buying some. They didn't have any for sale. They weren't allowed to sell any. So I ended up buying the ring off the vice president's finger and the pendant off her neck, because I wasn't going home without some of this osmium.
That is very interesting. You know, your story about silver sounds very similar to me with a different start. I was into crypto 6-7 years ago, pretty heavy. And all of my research, because I do research on everything, it all led me to silver, and I ended up getting kicked out of the crypto community because I was like, guys, you know, and they all respected me and I had a high moderator position at this big YouTube crypto show, and you know, I was well respected for all the research I did, and all my research led me, you know, it just dribbled down into silver. I was like, why don't we do both and at least get into silver? Because all my research is leading there. And that's what got me in, you know, about 3 years ago into precious metals. So I found it funny that you had a similar start to the precious metals around the same time that I did.
Yeah. And more now to have a wealth asset that is private, there's not a lot left that's left to us. Apart from the precious metals, really, there's not a lot left. If you have real estate, there's taxes on it, and it's registered. You know, the whole world knows about it. Every other asset is, you know, the bulk of people's assets are digits on a server in a desert somewhere or wherever they place the servers. It doesn't even exist. And it's tracked and taxed and stolen by governments. So they're even stealing stuff that doesn't exist.
they're good at that.
That they created out of thin air.
Yeah, for real. Yeah. Tom Larson has a good question. He said, if the piece is fingerprinted with the is that catalog as a serial number would be? If you'd
let me show you this letter P. So has an alphanumerical code there. So you see the code at the bottom.
Yeah.
So you can put that code into the database, and that will bring up that piece. It will bring up high resolution photographs. It will bring up a high resolution scan, the exact weight. Each piece is also coded at the time it's entered into the system. So it has a birthday to the second as well. But the physical coding on the crystalline structure is that every square millimeter, just from the 2D picture, is 10,000 more recognition points than a fingerprint.
Hey, Ian, now that you're on full screen, could you show that and the watch once again?
Sure.
Thank you. Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah. No, you're doing good.
So let me pull up that. What I'll do, I'll pull up that QR code. So the boxed pieces have a QR code. So let me just pull that up, then I can show you. Hopefully we can get this to show. Is that too bright?
Yeah, it's too bright.
Let's turn it that way.
Maybe angle it down a little bit.
Oh, let me turn the brightness down on my screen. So I'm just loading up the high resolution picture here. Here we go. It's just, there's so much data, it takes a while to load. Here we go. So that's the high resolution picture of that letter P.
Oh, there we go. That's a good picture there.
You can keep expanding that. This is the fingerprinting. So let me show the base of the letter P. There's the base of the letter P. And so you can just keep going on down. The deeper you go to the magnify, each crystal facet is unique.
And its placement on that piece is unique to that piece, and that's where you get duality. Yeah. I know a question that a buddy of mine had. He asked me earlier. It was about the acceptance on the jewelry level in jewelry stores. If someone were to like have a piece and they wanted to liquidate that piece, and I didn't have what I thought was a well enough answer for him. So I would like you possibly to touch on that if you wouldn't mind, sir.
Sure. So when you buy a piece of the cut osmium, that's entered into the osmium database. It's a private, secure system. The only reference to the owner on there is an email that you choose and you give, and a phone number. And then when you get the piece, you have an ownership code transferred to you. So if you have a piece made into a piece of jeweler, you can amend the registration to say it's now included in a piece of jewelry.
And then you can sell it, and the transfer code would go with that piece of jewelry.
The person who's selling would transfer the ownership code. Yeah.
So this osmium is not really to be looked at the same way as a regular precious metal, as to where you would stack it like coin, silver, gold, or platinum.
It does cross over, and I'm working with the Osmium Institute to make it to make pieces that are more bullion accessible.
But at this point, its form would be more used for as what I believed it to be would be a jewelry asset.
It's actually both, and probably the bulk is bigger discs like this one.
Okay.
These go to a lot of European family offices are buying these big discs because these have the versatility. They can be cut into smaller pieces with a higher value at a later date and easier to store. So it's a bit of both. I'm not sure what the exact ratio is, but what I see happening rapidly as the US learns about it, and the jewelry trade and goldsmiths start to use it. The demand will tip rapidly over into the jewelry aspect, into the jewelry uses.
That's the way I see it as well. I appreciate you for.
It's too beautiful to just lock up in or have a boating accident with, or midnight gardening.
Yeah.
How strong do you think that disc is? Like it appears like it might be kind of fragile. Like you wouldn't want to.
Yeah, people say, will it rub off? But no, it's solid. It's the densest element. It's all metal. It's all pure. It's 59.595 fine. So there's virtually no impurities in it. Yeah, it's I've dropped it a few times.
You'd expect it to be as strong as like maybe some steel or something like that.
I'm told you can bend it, but if you started to bend it back, you might start to break some of the crystal structure. But okay. I'm putting a fair bit of force on that, and it feels stronger than the steel that way.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah.
And you said once it's in that form or in that state, so if you put it in a furnace, for melting metals, do you think that would wreck it?
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to heat it over 400 centigrade.
Okay.
But apart from that, it's the most inert anything. There isn't anything, any element or any alloy that is as stable in this crystalline form. There's no acid or alkali or mix of acid and alkali that will touch it. It's actually more abrasive than diamond, and it's approaching the hardness of diamond.
Very nice. So I dropped the link for Arc Silver, Gold, Osmium, Platinum, arcsco.com. Is that the preferred contact that you'd like people to have?
Yeah, my phone number or email. Yeah, that's the quickest way to get hold of me. Yeah.
Okay. I'll put it in there again right now, just for everyone's reference.
So what I was saying, Tom, about it never going back to the raw form is, yes, it can be reprocessed back, but the intense added value is the process of turning it from the raw sponge, the raw osmium powder, which is toxic and unstable, into this beautiful crystalline form. It took a Swiss scientist over 4 decades to get to a reasonable stage, and another period of time to get it even enough for high-end watchmakers to use and for multiple applications in jewelry. So what's going to happen is there will be zero incentive to turn this back into raw osmium powder. You'd be destroying all of the added value. So that's why it's going to get locked up in this form.
Yeah, I see it. I actually see it growing in the jewelry aspect. And wasn't osmium just awarded some award or something by the World Jewelry Council or something recently?
Yes, they've been doing incredibly well, pretty well. Every jewelry exhibition they go to, where they take pieces, they've won awards. Yeah, continually. It's really inspiring some interesting designs that there isn't any other precious gem that would approach its utility. Even, I mean, the letter P gives an example. That's one piece with really crisp, sharp edges. So it's limitless the shapes it can be cut into. So although the raw material has quite a high value, it's minimal labor to make some incredibly beautiful pieces.
It's very refractive, like a diamond too, when the natural light gets on it. Because I remember seeing some, it had like a bluish hue to it from the light. Let
me show you.
Light, no justice. You make that into an earring, and that thing blings. Yeah, you're starting to see a little bit of it there.
That's a 500K flashlight. So it really, you need to see it in sunlight to really see those blues and the crystalline pattern dancing. It's that looks pretty rubbish there compared to in sunlight.
Yes, very much.
In sunlight, you've got 1,000 pieces glistening in it, and like you said, Neil, lots of blues in there.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
so it doesn't refract the light; it reflects. So
Yeah.
the crystalline structure is practically perfect hexagonal mirrors stacked up to form the crystalline structure.
All at different angles, reflecting in different area, and just crossover of lighting, causing that sharper blues and darker spectrum of color.
It tends to literally reflect the light straight back at you, just because of the nature of the structure. The hexagonal mirrors just layered up and up and up to a point.
Yeah.
Jake had a question here too for Ian. He was asking, can you expand on the German and European market for the jewelry for osmium? How many jewelry stores design and sell in Europe, do you think?
Oh my! So the Osmium Institute, they just had their 10th anniversary. So they are in 42 countries now, if we count the US. So it's a slow process for some jewelers, and some jewelers are resistant because they feel it's threatening the traditional diamond-based aspect of their business. Whereas really, I just see it for any goldsmiths and jewelers who start using this, it just adds to what they can offer. I mean, often osmium is used with diamonds and other precious stones to a great extent. So as to the number of jewelers in Europe, I'm not sure about that. I know there are 3 major Swiss watch manufacturers who are using it now. And we're talking leagues above Rolex. We're talking about $500,000 watches. So it has a great acceptance in that league. It doesn't mean it's inaccessible to the average precious metals enthusiast, because pieces start from $20 at the moment, from the smallest pieces.
As I well know, I bought you out of the last.
You cleaned the institute out. Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I heard it. I jumped on it quick. Sorry, guys. You get round 2. Neil stole round 1 from me.
Isn't that called front running?
No, it's you can go online. You can buy straight from the Osmium Institute if you want. I mean, we just make it easier. We import tax-free. So we sell it slightly below what it would cost you to get it direct, and you don't have to pay the international shipping and do foreign international wires. So yeah, he definitely didn't front run, but he just the information is not secret. It's just no one knows.
I just saw the opportunity and took everything. That's all.
Seth was asking, where's osmium mined? Like, my understanding is typically wherever you find the most amount of platinum is a good place to start.
Yeah, so Australia, South Africa, Canada, and the Ural Mountains, which is Russia. So the Institute will only use ethically sourced osmium. So that restricts, again, you can't rock up at the Osmium Institute and say, I got 20 kilos of osmium. They'll say, well, where did it come from? And if you can't prove where it came from, how it was mined, how it's processed, they won't use it.
And that's a good thing with how things are going, because another good thing that I see for osmium is right now, the way things are going with the diamond industry and them being exposed for not controlling prices, let's say, and basically, in my personal opinion, no opinion of anyone else, stealing from people by lying to them about rarity.
Yeah.
This has no issue with that. And because diamonds are having that issue right now, this right here, I think, is the perfect thing to replace diamonds.
Yeah, I mean, some people have cautioned.
That's a jewelry.
There is a natural monopoly here. There's only one company that have managed to successfully produce in any quantity. And then there's one institute, the German Osmium Institute, who are the only outlets for that. But the story behind that is pretty fascinating. So the Swiss scientist who perfected the crystallization process was showing it to precious metals dealers, to jewelers. No one would take any notice of it. He met Ingo Wolf, the founder of the Osmium Institute. Ingo was selling precious metals at a precious metals fair, and the scientist managed to get a 20-minute meeting with him. after 6 hours, Ingo had fully grasped how incredibly precious this stuff is in a crystalline form. He agreed to sell all of his businesses, and he said, now we're going to create a demand for this product. So a lot of people think, oh, there's no competition, but that's the way it is. And they are so far ahead, and they've secured such large stocks of the raw osmium. I think it's too late for a competitor to come into the market now.
And that's the great opportunity for us at this point in time, in my opinion.
I think so. I mean, we're steadily selling down a little bit of silver to buy more, build up more osmium. And I'm 100% convinced silver is the best thing ever. But osmium is just a little bit better.
Well, it's new to the stacking community and to the jewelry community. And myself personally, I see the opportunity that the same thing that my brother German, who owns this Osmium Institute, knew. And by the way, ich bin ein Deutschlander. If he asks, I'm partial German. I can see where a German took total advantage of this when he saw it.
I think he is just an incredibly intelligent man and a visionary, and he just caught it. He thought this is worth selling everything to pursue and bring it to market, because osmium's handicap before it was available in this form is it's so rare that any of the multitude of industrial uses it could have, there's just not enough of the raw osmium for any of those uses.
Yeah.
It would be like inventing the wheel and delivering the first batch of 20, and then your customer comes back and says, can I have another 20? And you say, no, you don't get it. There's only 20 wheels. That's it. There's no more.
Yeah, the practical use cases doesn't match its supply.
Yeah, it would make the best submarines because it's the densest element. It would make the best radiation shields.
There's just not enough of it.
It's incredible if you alloy it with other metals. It makes them incredibly hard wearing. So it would probably have a multitude of aerospace, space, and military applications, but it's never going to get used for them.
Yeah, and well, the platinum group metals are rare, and it is one of the rarer of the platinum group metals, and it is found in the platinum group veins, which I say Canada's fixing to give us a new one here within the next couple of years. And I'd already suggested to you, Clearwater Industries has the license for this new platinum vein they discovered in Ontario. They're not mining it yet because the price is obviously too low. It costs too much. I mean, I don't see how South Africa's staying in business, quite frankly, with their platinum mines at the price it is right now. That's why I'm buying it.
Yeah. I mean, and platinum is, I hear different figures from 30 to 40 times rarer than gold. Valence. Osmium is 1,500 times rarer than gold.
Yeah, and it is found in platinum, which means it is not a lot of it, because you have to find platinum, then you have to go into the platinum to get the osmium out.
That's where osmium is found. When there isn't platinum, there would be no economic possibility of ever mining it, unless it reaches $1 million an ounce.
Yeah, the mining aspect of it for the cost is not worth it, indeed.
Yeah, I mean, the best estimates I've heard are you need to move 10,000 tons of platinum ore to get an ounce of osmium.
Yeah, so it is definitely rare. It goes what you said. The trackable increase of value yearly was 15%.
Since January 2017, they've been publishing a spot price, and it's averaged 15% a year, and that's before the US has really even heard of it. I think the US is actually going to be the largest market in the world. So it has a potential of selling out in years. I mean, Ingo Wolf, the founder, he predicts 10 to 15 years. I think it could be in as little as 2 years it becomes practically unavailable.
So we're looking at, and excuse the reference, but we're looking at basically the crypto version of silver on a Bitcoin halving. It's going to go and be gone. It's going to go up to the sky, and then it's going to be unobtainium, and bye-bye.
And it's so beautiful it will always have a demand for the uber rich. Will always demand it.
Exactly. And that's where I see the value in creating smaller pieces of silver, which is why I got everything that you had of that one type, because I see instantly, just like the creator of the Institute, I see the potential.
Yeah.
I wish I was you back in 2017 and you'd be talking to
I
me.
wish I'd known about it in, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I see great potential, and that's I do appreciate. Long live coins. How's it going? I would like to have you up here if you like, sir. Get a
And
familiar
Ian,
face.
you've done really well there. Neil's had you on full screen in the spotlight pretty much the whole time here.
Well, I figured everyone sees my ugly mug enough, and no one wants to see jerseys. So
I wanted to make sure that that you can see the live chat, Ian. Are you able to see that?
I can't. No.
Okay, you can stay in StreamYard. Top
Yep.
right hand side, you'll see private chat and comments. Just click
Yep.
on comments,
Okay.
and then
there you go.
you'll see what everyone's saying, and that way I don't have to speak so much, keep interrupting everyone.
Okay, I got it now. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Silvershire. And I haven't heard Nickel yet, because Nickel's one of the more skeptics. I'd love to hear if Nickel had.
I want-
I mean, I've got some clients who buy a lot of silver, and they said it's not for them. They think, they don't quite grasp why it's $1,435 a gram. Which, it's a hard concept. I think that's about 22 times more than gold by weight. But you can't do that with a piece of gold, and you can't do that with a piece of gold.
I bet that shines outside.
Oh my gosh, I love driving with this.
Yeah.
The morning light or the evening light, and it's just
Yeah.
bouncing off. It's quite distracting.
I bet everyone who drives by you or you drive by is like, what did he have?
I'm borrowing this as well, so that's Ingo's watch. Yeah.
But the larger disc you have, that's worth what, approximately $70,000 US?
About $76,000, yeah. And that's a fairly thick piece. So because it's a crystallization process, the longer they run the process for, the bigger the crystals grow and the thicker the piece comes. And so basically it's sold by weight plus a cutting charge for the smaller pieces and the wastage. So they rate it 1.5 on a sparkle grade, 1 being the finest. So the finer pieces can be 1/3 the weight of a thicker piece. So for some applications, a fine sparkle is great. I mean, we've got a box of heart-shaped pieces came in there in a sparkle 1. They still look absolutely outstanding, but they're around $140 in a sparkle 1 grade. If they want a sparkle 5, they would be in the $400 range. So you can choose a piece for your application, and that's what I do when I'm looking for pieces to buy personally. I'll look for the lightest weight for the sparkle grade.
So they do the sparkle grade for similar to the diamonds sparkle grade.
No, it's the sparkle grade is referring to the size of the crystals.
Oh, okay. I thought
it's not how reflective. Every piece, from what I understand, it's the most. There isn't anything more reflective.
So it's already better than diamond in that aspect.
Yeah, and somebody asked me a while back, do you think it could replace diamonds? Or, and I was about to say, of course it can. It's superior in so many ways. And then I thought, actually it can't, because it's just not enough of it. There's not enough for one of those. You couldn't give one of those to every American. That's it. It's all gone.
Yeah, the price would be pretty prohibitive for most people too.
Yeah, I mean, the starting prices is $20 for the smallest squares. I need to do the calculation, actually. I mean, maybe somebody who's good at maths who's watching. So we got about a cubic meter. So if your average thickness is 0.3 of a millimeter, there's not many square meters of this stuff they can make.
I'll ask you a question. Has any of this ever been found on an asteroid?
On a what? On an asteroid?
Yeah.
A hit that's come to Earth, let's say. And
The reason why he's
The
the reason why he's probably asking is because I always say that the asteroids are formed by the heavier metals, and I always talk about asteroid mining for platinum because platinum
Okay.
and iron are the first things that coagulate together and form asteroids. So at the base of every asteroid is a large amount of platinum and iron. And
So
that's
from what I understand from the geology of it, it's when the Earth was formed, part of that, there's two neutron stars collided. And that's why it's the densest element. So it's not widespread at all. So is it on asteroids? I don't know. I doubt it in any meaningful quantity. I just saw a question there from Seth Shepard. How much is a gram? So it's trading around $1,435 a gram at the moment.
well, I mean, we get hit. There's like asteroids that hit the Earth, and then people will go and they go for big time bucks.
Yeah, I
And
know.
there could be platinum on them. It could be gold. It could be
Yep.
silver.
Yep.
Gemstones. So I'm just wondering if one's ever hit the Earth and this metal's actually been on it.
I've not heard. I mean, it's. I mean, obviously, the prevalence in platinum is incredibly rare. From what I understand, every piece of platinum will have an atom or two of osmium trapped in it that will never get separated.
Just like when you sell platinum at 0.999, the other 0.1 is rhodium.
And well, there will be some osmium, whether you can measure it or not. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They don't always get the impurities, but it's still a platinum metal. So unless you get a pure piece of like platinum, it'll have the other platinum groups metals of a little bit of a trace osmium. Mostly rhodium will be traceable or readable on a chemical test if you test platinum. But you won't get the others because the amount is not high enough.
All right, I got another question, and this one is: if you're going to make mostly jewelry with it, who decides what the shapes of the jewelry will be? Are you going to do cats, dogs, crosses? I would think crosses are very popular. Hearts are very popular.
You can go to you can go to buyosmium.com, and they have over 250 different shapes. So I don't think they have dogs at the moment, but they did have a cat, a fox, a bear. So you can get a custom piece made, and if there's enough demand, they will make a piece. The reason they have specified pieces, each piece has a customs code, so it can be imported as a semi-processed raw material and not attract a 35% import tax. So we will fairly soon have all the different shapes actually on our website as well, so people can look on our website and see all the different pieces that are available. So they start from the 2mm squares, and then you have triangles, discs, rectangles. A hexagon is a brand new product that I asked them to make, and within 2 weeks they've made some hexagons. They do a 3/4 inch, what they call a coin disc, with no premium on it. So yeah, there is no limit, and they will keep increasing the shapes. They do crosses, but they sell out very, very quickly. But they are pretty quick to restock.
I would think the cross would be the number one.
Yeah,
I think would probably be number two.
Yeah. They do a beautiful drop shape, which I think will just be exquisite for earrings, pendants. But I agree with you about the cross. We got some ideas of how you could use those creatively in different products for sure.
But you basically the company or the group is encouraging people to do it in jewelry form.
Yeah.
So that's basically the if you're into making money, buying it in the base form and putting it in a piece of jewelry, if it's a well enough done piece, cash in the bank, baby.
It will sell itself. I'll give you an example. The very first piece we had made, we've been allowed to make almost everything that's in the Oslery catalog. So Oslery is the vice president's spin-off into the jewelry world. They kindly let us reproduce pieces that haven't got a copyright on. So we had a bracelet made, which was a gold band, and it had a 9mm disc on one end and a 4mm disc on the other end. We put it out in Jackson in the square for an event. A lady saw it from a distance, saw it sparkle at her. She came and bought it. My wife told me she'd sold it, and I didn't even get her to tell her what osmium was. This lady bought it because it was beautiful.
And that would be the glimmer effect that people look for in jewelry that they get from diamonds. This outdoes. And that is exactly
sparkles. Yeah. And especially at a distance.
That's what I saw when I again, I apologize to you and everyone else, because I know the first interview I did was crappy and I did not show it because of my own vanity. I thought it made me look bad when I should have just let the information out. I was self-absorbed. And then I saw Long Live Coins do an interview, and I was like, Neil, and I started hitting myself. I was like, you fell into the old trap as woe is me bull crap, and you didn't get the information out there. Stick with it. So I'm glad that I got this opportunity, because you know what I got, you know what I want to do with it, and it's right in line with what you guys see it as, and I also see it as. And I hope a lot of these other people here that are my YouTube friends,
it's already been combined with gold. There was a European company did a limited edition of 500 quarter-ounce panther. They called it panther gold bars.
That's the one I showed at the beginning of the show. That was gorgeous. Oh my God, that thing is gorgeous.
Yeah, and so you can get a 3mm disc. They start around $60-$70. So if you're adding that to a $500-$600 bar of gold, you're not adding a huge amount to make something incredibly unique.
Sorry, guys, I didn't mean to do that. I was actually meaning to type.
And just so you know, Neil, I shared a screen with you too.
Homestead Aquarius has done the maths, so we could get 333 sheets at 3mm thick. So the average thickness is 0.3, so 3,333. So let's be generous, 4,000 square yards.
That's not a lot.
That's smaller than Trump's penthouse apartment, isn't it?
Yeah.
Depending how you measure it. It's not a lot of surface, is it?
And that's another reason that I think the stackers should actually be interested in this, even in the format of jewelry being its most likely use case, is the rarity, because we always say the rarity gives it value. So you should see the innate benefits of the rarity factor of this, and then the use case on top of it, going straight to an upper class jewelry market, or yourself buying some and putting and just, oh my God, the profit margin is so great. I love it.
I mean, it was termed. It was the phrase "Big Bang." The osmium Big Bang was actually coined in America. Yeah. Those are the osmium bears there. Yeah. Oh, they do a horse's head. That would be good for the mafia, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I know some people.
Leave one of those on a pillow.
I know someone who did that.
I just wanted to show that for anyone that hasn't been to Ian's website, this is right on his homepage.
Yes.
Just go to products and then down to osmium. And I'll drop that link again. Yep.
Thank you very much, JM.
Yep, you're welcome. I'll drop the link again right here.
You almost made it back on the Christmas card list.
All right. So I don't know if you wanted to show any more, but I can share the screens if you wanted to show more examples.
That right there, actually, I like that because it shows the purplish blue in the osmium. It actually shows it. So they took those pictures out in the natural sunlight, because that's the actual color that you'll see from a distance.
The best way to see it is on a video.
Oh, yeah. Here, let me see if I can pop that up. Let's see here. I'll get that back. Give me a second, guys.
Yeah. I'll stop sharing this so you can pull that up right away.
It's right away is a little bit longer for me.
Well, you know what I mean.
Let's see. How do I do this now? Share screen. No, present. Share screen. Sorry, guys, I'm not an expert at this.
You got it.
Okay, now I go back over here.
And make that video that you're before you hit play, go over to the right a bit and hit the last box on the right to make it full screen on the video.
That? That's the best.
On the tab, scroll to the right, the far right box in the video image.
The bottom right hand corner of the actual picture.
Video.
Of the video.
Got it?
It's got 4 corners. It's 4 corners of a square right in the.
Oh shit. Okay.
Right where you're gonna hit play.
Okay, I have to go to another tab to hit play.
That's right.
Okay, so that's where I need to be.
That's it.
Yeah, the far right.
Next
Right.
one.
Next one over.
In the corner. That's it.
Yep, you got it.
Okay, sorry guys.
Unmute. Okay, I'm gonna mute so there's no echo.
I love this commercial.
I want one.
So do I. That's the PC. Is that the piece you're talking about that they made?
Yeah, that was a 1/4 ounce gold bar. Yeah.
That is gorgeous.
Yeah.
That piece right there.
Yeah, and Shadowworks asking about discussing the process of converting osmium to the new crystalline form.
Sure. So yes, it is very rarely found. Very rarely it is found in a crystalline form, but it's quite jaggedy, like the pictures at the beginning of that video. So first they have to clean it. So they have to pretty well scrub it to an atomic level. They actually had to produce equipment to measure to a higher purity, and actually built a whole separate business about measuring and assaying products to an incredible high level. So between 9 and 11 nines pure. Then after that, it's heated to over 9,000 Fahrenheit to get it into a vapor. And then it's pretty secret after that. It may be under pressure. It may be under partial vacuum. I don't know. And I don't know how they coax it to start crystallizing. There's 160 steps. It's harder than making diamond for sure.
So it's not going to be like we wake up tomorrow morning and there's 3 other companies doing it, because it took them 40 years to get to this point.
Exactly. And whoa, shall I share it? Yeah, I'm going to share this. I think Ingo won't kill me if he sees this. So they reached a point where they felt they had improved the production rate to a point they could lower the price. That was back in June last year. So they had what was called the osmium fork, where they dropped the price down to $1,200 and something a gram. What they did, they then compensated anybody who'd previously bought physical osmium. They gave them 52% more osmium free of charge to make them whole at whatever price they'd bought for in the past, to count for that sudden price drop, which was about 34% on paper. It never actually dropped that much, and now we're trading in the 1400s. So I think the Osmium Institute has the capacity to do a very aggressive price cut if a competitor dared stick their head above the parapet. And you'd have to spend hundreds of millions of dollars to get that far. You know, the Osmium they're in 42 countries now. They have over 1,500 people working for them or making a living working for them. They're so far ahead on the marketing and the branding as well. But if they had to, I think they could defend it. And if you also look at it, diamonds are made from carbon, so anyone can set up making diamonds now. We're not going to run out of carbon. It's the fifth most common element, whereas the raw osmium is the rarest non-radioactive element. So there's a very finite amount of it. So even if you managed to copy the process or simulate the process and start producing it and form a worldwide means of bringing it to market, and have all the customs legislation in place so it can be exported duty-free, and have all of you'd be so far behind. It doesn't keep me up at night thinking, oh my gosh, the value of my osmium is going to get cut in half because someone's going to start making it cheaper.
Yeah, at that point, I think they'd be more likely to make an offer to buy you out.
Yes.
Well, here's something I see just because of the uniqueness of the economic situation that we're in the world right now. You find that this product we've already established is a higher end product. And
yes.
if you study economics, you'll find during economic hard times, the wealthier stick their money in newer stuff, like newer types of jewelry, high end jewelry to store their wealth in. So it is a perfect time to get into this type of market in the jewelry format, especially if you can bring it to, and I don't know if this is what I'm going to try. I'm going to try and bring it to the average person. Let's get where you can get like an earring or something for a relatively cheap price and not spend tens of thousands of dollars, but still get the wow factor for the price in the lower echelon. Because it is, I do see, I mean, I got so many ideas in my head for jewelry, but it's all going to be too expensive. So I got to limit my thought process on and try and make everything available to the smaller end consumer. And that's what I'm aiming for. And I think now in history, because of the economic scenario and the technology needed to make this, I just think everything's come to a head where it's the perfect time to get into osmium, crystallized osmium.
I've just seen that comment by Homestead Aquarius that it was used on Space Shuttle's mirrors because in its refined metallic form, it's the most reflective surface. It's more reflective than silver. But it failed on the Space Shuttle's mirrors because it did start to oxidize. So we did have this discussion with Salivate Metals. He had an osmium bar, and he was told it was perfectly safe and inert. It is not. Any sintered or refined bar product, the uncrystallized form will have nanoholes in it that will allow oxygen in, and it will react and form osmium tetroxide and other toxic compounds. For an example, the Osmium Institute actually bought one of these cubes. They put it on a sheet of white paper and left it in the office. And when they came back Monday morning, the paper was brown underneath the cube. So osmium tetroxide was forming. So that's probably what happened to the space shuttle mirrors, that at some point in the processing, some oxygen got in or on the surface. I mean, obviously there's not supposed to be any oxygen in space, but somehow there must have been an amount, and they started corroding. So they won't use it for mirrors.
Here's a question for you, Ian. Do you think that bar that Salivate Metal had, will the price performance or the value performance of that will be just as good as if, for example, he had traded it in and got the crystallized form?
Interesting.
Good question.
I think the crystalline form, as the supplies run out and we're back to about half a ton is produced a year worldwide, that will limit the amount that's available in the crystalline form. I think for sure the raw form will have a good price improvement for sure. But you can't enjoy it. I mean, you definitely can't lick it. I did tell Sal, do not lick that bar.
As long as he leaves it, he leaves it in the packaging, though. I think so too, because that's a nice, pure, clean source of more.
Yeah, a lot of those products are not that pure. They will have other of the platinum group metals in them. So you'd have to have it independently assayed to prove what the purity was. But no doubt, I think I think it can only, the crystalline form can only be positive for the uncrystalline form, for sure.
Would that bar that he's got be able to be turned into the crystalline form? Like I see Long Live Coins, I think, unless it's a typo, says you can't.
Only if the Osmium Institute knew where it came from. You could prove chain of custody, where it was mined, how it was refined, and that nobody died making it.
Gotcha.
So that's going to be really hard to prove, isn't it?
But that leaves room for that leaves actually room for competitors.
It does, who would use unknown sourced. Yeah, no, for sure. But I think with the 10-year advantage, and it will be the world brand. I mean, a similar analogy I can say. I don't know if you guys remember when videotape came out. You had VHS and you had Sony Betamax. Sony Betamax was a far superior product, but VHS got to market first, and Betamax disappeared, even though it was a superior product. So
that's a Gresham's law applying to product rather than money.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Long Live Coins, and you need to sponge raw form. That's even more dangerous, though. You've really got to keep that away from oxygen.
Yeah, from my understanding, in the form that Sal has it in, if oxygen got to it, wouldn't it powderize?
He had that in a sealed, didn't he? Had it in a,
yeah, but if oxygen got to it, it would powderize, would it not?
It will start to oxidize. Yes. Yeah.
And turn to a powder form. Yeah, because I was researching, I was reading a story. Someone had bought some from a not secure source, and they received the raw metal osmium. And when they got it, it had turned into a powderized form. The wind blew and it all went away.
Wow. I just saw a question there by Seth Shepard. So the half ton that's approximately a best estimate what is recovered from platinum mining per year. The 23 tons is the estimated amount that will be ethically sourced that the Institute will turn into the crystalline form. And then thereafter, potentially up to half a ton a year.
So it's definitely rare, more rare than even platinum, my true love in the precious metals.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, 1,500 times rarer than gold. So divide that by 40, whatever that math is.
I'm not throwing platinum to the wayside. I still love platinum.
Oh, yes. Yeah, it's beautiful stuff, for sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. And has a lot of uses, that are pretty unique, you know.
Well, technology again, stepping in, making use case of platinum go through the roof. Another reason why I love platinum, use cases through technology. And that's also what drew me to osmium, the crystallized osmium, the technology advancements. And the same thing's going to, I see it's beautiful. Osmium's a beautiful thing. I'm in love with osmium.
Sarge 27271 has just asked what the ratio was. Gold versus platinum. Well, we think it's about 42, don't we? 40.
I've heard between 27 and 32 is what I've heard.
Right.
But now the ratio for osmium to gold is 1,500 to 1.
1,500, yeah.
Oh God, quick math. That would make it 200 to 1 for actual platinum to osmium.
If you divide that, yeah.
So definitely a very, very rare metal, high-end market, low entry point, possibility of creating your own piece of jewelry, profit margins high, a lot of people pushing the market right now to expand. I see nothing but opportunity, and I am very, very, very grateful that you came on and I was able to speak to you, and for Long Live Coins for the opportunity to speak with you and learn about this and get on board and encourage other people to get on board. I believe, honestly, this is a very fast growing market that we're going to be in here.
It is hard to comprehend that it probably will not reach every goldsmith and every jeweler in the US. There's no.
Hard for others. I totally see that.
Yeah.
I totally see that.
Yeah.
That's why I'm so happy about this. Elated, more so than platinum, even though I still love platinum. So is there any other questions on the panel, or does anyone want to join the panel and speak with Ian and get any of your personal questions asked that weren't able to be asked in the chat?
Oh, I just seen, yeah, platinum has been used as money. It was money in Russia for quite a long period, wasn't it, Neil?
Yes, it was. From 1825 to 1845, they had 4 platinum coins circulated as currency.
Yeah.
It was a 3.4, 4.4, no, 3.4, 6.4, 9.4, and 20 gram coin form.
Yeah.
Did they have gold monetized at the same time as platinum? Like, I'm just wondering what the ratio would have been on the face value of their coins. Because I know in the States, silver is 1, gold is 50, and platinum's 100.
That is a very interesting question. And as being known as the platinum guru, you actually stumped the panel. I am so excited to look forward to getting a platinum Russian coin. I never thought to look at it. And I know they were using gold as money too. They've always used gold as money and silver, especially back at that time period. Yeah. But I don't know the ratio. You got me on that one.
Nice. So there you go. I didn't Google that. I got to take a quick break. I'll be back.
There on hydrogen tech. So I think platinum and palladium are very effective at storing hydrogen, aren't they? I think
platinum's better at that. Yeah. I think the car industry just signed a deal every 10 years. They flip from using platinum to palladium, depending on price. And they just had that contract 2 years ago where they're going to be using palladium. And that's why the price is dropping. That's why I think it's going to drop to 700, because it's industry-driven price. They need a cheaper price to replace the platinum price. And that's another reason why platinum's going to jump along with the manipulation. But yes, platinum's actually better for a chemical, what is that?
Catalyst.
Thank you. Wow, you think a lot like me. I like you. Yeah, it's a better catalyst for, I know Monsanto was using, or still probably is, to make glue in aerosol form. You have to have platinum, because the chemical of Vidine is what they use to aerosol the glue, and it has to be run through a platinum screening to be able to have the glue stick to the Vidine for them to aerosol it to where you have spray glue. So platinum will always be used for that. And actually, it's more probably important a use than for catalytic converters, because you can't use palladium in that instance, to where in catalytic converters, you can replace it with palladium.
Right. And it looks like Japan is going full hydrogen. It looks like they're going to skip EV. It doesn't look like Toyota.
They have pooped on EV. Yeah. And out here in California, Chevron and Phillips 66 signed a contract, and the governor passed a SB 740 that gives the workload to the union iron workers, for which I am. And our future work consists of building hydrogen power plants. Right. And I discovered that we have 4 hydrogen power plants that are scheduled to be built here in the Bay Area, one in Pittsburgh and one in Richmond. And I think Chevron's going to be building 30 hydrogen fueling stations throughout California in the next couple of years. So hydrogen is a big thing, and that is platinum.
And hydrogen is probably the only viable alternative to diesel for heavy equipment, construction equipment.
Actually, Cummins Diesel just ended the making of their diesel engines for a biodiesel hydrogen hybrid, and they just put that power plant in their first semi truck for use. So you're 100% correct on that, and actually industry's already moved in that direction.
Yeah, and JCB out of the UK are making direct swap hydrogen engines that are an exact swap for a diesel engine. So somebody with an existing piece of equipment can swap the engine out.
Yeah, people here in America don't realize how important the hydrogen industry is, and therefore platinum.
Yeah.
And the growing industry.
How about rhodium? How about rhodium and basically it's mostly mined in South Africa. I think most of it's there, and then it's also in, I think, Russia. How far along are those mines? I mean, how close are they to mining out? Do you have any idea?
Same, actually, I do. Same as platinum, because they're a platinum group metal, and they're found with that. And right now, South Africa's average depth for their platinum vein is about 2,000 meters, which means they're coming close to being mined out. And Clear Metals Energy from Ontario, Canada, the platinum vein they found is only 500 meters, starting out at 500 meters. So the expense of getting it at 500 meters is like 10 times cheaper than going 2,000 meters. You have to pump oxygen down there. You have to do life support. You have to do life savings and all these other things. And the deeper you go, it exponentially gets more expensive. And that is why it costs around $900 to mine an ounce of platinum. That's not refined form in coin. That's more around $1,300. So if you're actually buying platinum right now, you are getting it cheaper than they're mining it for. And that is not the same in silver or gold. And that's why I see the profit potential going way much more higher for platinum. But for poor people, percentage-wise, silver will probably give a better return because of its price and availability.
Could you see rhodium getting 75,000 an ounce?
I'm not into projecting that kind of stuff because I see there's so many ways. If you have a financial reset, then everything's off. Everything you say is wrong because you reset the world finances. And if they say this is a world recession, then the possibilities of that happening are higher. And since China's pushing for it, and I've heard America give numbers for that, there's a better possibility than not of us having a monetary reset. And in that case, it doesn't matter what number you give out now. So it's irrelevant. And that seems to be about the way we're going. So I don't like throwing out numbers. I do know historically, until South Africa joined BRICS, platinum was 1 to 2 times more expensive than gold.
Yeah.
Since it was discovered up until around 2011, 12, 13, when or 10 or 11 actually, when South Africa joined BRICS, and China specifically stated they courted South Africa because they're unique minerals, and they listed diamonds, gold, and platinum. And at that time, there's 3 diamond mines in the world, so it wasn't rare. Gold's everywhere. It's not rare. They only had platinum. So they just entered an economic war with America, and we control the price of platinum. And that is why today you can buy it cheaper than we can mine it, or they can mine it for, because it's a we and them, like a Bugs Bunny thing. We against them. Well, we against them, and we set the price and they mine it. So that's why they're losing money. And the same with their gold industry has lost, I think, $5 billion over the past 10 years because their mining practices are no bueno.
And it's incredibly thin market in the bullion and in the sort of 1 ounce bars, 5 ounce bars, 10 ounce bars. There's very, very little stock in the US in the wholesale and retail side.
Mm-hmm.
It would take very moderate buying and it'd all be sold out. I mean, we've nearly seen palladium become practically unavailable. Hence, a lot of companies are charging $200-300 premiums per ounce on palladium products. So it would take a minute move to stackers diversifying 1 or 2% of their purchases into platinum, and it's sold out on the retail side.
I am so glad you mentioned about premiums, because I have a subscriber that talks about premiums having meaning, and they do. The premium goes higher as the product grows lower and the price doesn't match it. Yeah. So the premium kind of sort of is an indicator of a manipulated price.
Yes. And
premium is not even close to the actual price, but more close than the spot price at the time. And the higher the spread on premiums for spot is a typical, to me, indicator of a manipulated price on a downward level by some entity. And that's how I see premiums. That's why I don't mind buying at a high premium, because in actuality, it's closer to the real price, even though it's probably still
below. Yeah.
Sure. I look at it as the spot price is buying in bulk. It's like buying wholesale. So if you're buying smaller denominations of it, I've got no problem paying a 10 or 15% markup on it. Like most businesses in there selling a product, it's 100% markup minimum.
Yeah, typically. And that's just business.
You see that with copper bullion, though, right? Copper bullion, you're going to have 500 or 1,000% markup.
Yeah, I mean, that's just down to mainly the distortion on the minting cost. There's a base level, say it's 40 cents to mint a 1 ounce round. So if your metal value is, you know, I mean, what's 1 ounce of copper? 14 troy ounces to a pound. So $4 divided by the value of the metal is less than the minting charge.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So that's where you get the distortion. But going back to platinum, I mean, typically, I mean, on a retail, a 1 ounce gold bar, it's a $50 premium. Well, it's a $50 premium on a 1 ounce bar of platinum that's on a spot of under $900. So it's over twice the percentage.
Exactly.
So that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
If it was as easily accessible as gold in bullion, it would be $20, $25 premium an ounce.
Yep. That's how I see it. And that's why I made that purchase.
Yeah, I had to get a fair bit of palladium last week for a client. All we could get in the end was some really fairly old Credit Suisse palladium bars. Give you an idea of how old they were. They were in a cardboard, not laminated plastic. They're in folded cardboard stapled together. You know, that's how old they were.
Auto industry and that contract, they sucked it up, and as in anything, the larger it is, the bigger the wheel, the more time it takes to turn. But if you're in, you're in, and if you're out, you're out.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm pushing platinum. I've never really been into the other platinum metals except for now osmium. Now, one good thing we do have here in America is palladium is now minted as an American Eagle. So the mint does have to put out a certain amount. So you do have opportunity to get some.
And the maple in Britannia.
Yeah, so they do have a very limited window to get some of that. But like you said, if you go to like online, look for something, anything else, it ain't there.
And interestingly, it's been so out of fashion, out of demand. When we had to source a lot of 1 ounce bars, one of our wholesalers said, sorry, their accountants told them to scrap it, basically send it for melting, because it just wasn't moving fast enough. So what little they had to scrap it.
Yep.
Dang.
There's a lot to this precious metal market. There's a lot to the platinum group's metal market.
Yeah, a little bit of diversification, and it always cheers you up if silver's getting a hammering. Quite often platinum is moving up a bit. So, and it's always good looking at the osmium chart. It's always going up. So,
and that's a very much attractive point as well as the 15% annual growth. I mean, if you know anything about just business, just from a business aspect, forget the stacker, forget the jewelry, and that's just the two other good ones to look at it from. But minus those, from a business aspect, when someone tells you, hey, you know, if I'm like, I've got a friend graduated magna cum laude business school from MIT. I came to him from a deal. He kept his head down. All he heard was the numbers I was throwing at him, and he was like, okay, let's do it, because that's what it comes down to. The numbers, will it work? It's always about the math when it comes to business. If you have the numbers and it works, it'll work. When you hear 15% month over month, that your eyes should perk up, especially under these economic conditions that we're under. That's even more outstanding.
Yeah.
Excuse me, year after year. Excuse me, my bad. Thank you for correction me on that. I'm just really excited.
I can see it gaining.
Wow.
I mean, at that point where the market just thins out, I can see some pretty rapid rises for sure.
I'm sorry, I said I wouldn't get excited, and I got excited. I'm sorry. I just see great opportunity in three different.
Going back to a comment a while back, I did see Gerald Draper suggested a hydrogen electric generator, and I thought, oh my gosh, I want one of those for my electric pickup. That would be awesome. And yeah, I mean, when hydrogen really takes off, you could I would have thought it would be very feasible to remanufacture your electric vehicle, take out the batteries, and put in a hydrogen electric generator. I like that idea.
You know, the thing you were saying about them having in Europe, them changing out the engines to hydrogen engines.
Yeah.
Sounds like a business opportunity to get into here also.
Yeah.
Because I haven't heard anyone get into that, and that's going to be a thing. So, you know, first in usually profits.
I'm just going to be a bit more complicated in the US. I can see we're going to split. We're going to split into a world oil price and a US oil price. I'm convinced that when the US refineries have retooled or built extra facilities to refine the Texas light sweet, we'll stop importing heavy crude. And then we'll be able to put a ban on all oil or oil product exports, and hence there'll be a US price and the rest of the world price.
And our price will be cheaper.
Well, the scary thing is our price could be determined by the government in power at the time.
And that is, yes.
So can you imagine election time? Oh, gasoline is $1 a gallon. Who are people going to vote for? The government that gave them gasoline at $1 a gallon, you know. It's like,
hope beyond hope that the politicians see this and actually do something about it, but we all laugh at that one. You're 100% correct though, about it being weaponized.
Oh, Seth Shepard there has asked, how long has Osmium been tradable? So the history of trading was initially the Osmium Institute wouldn't help you resell through them for a period of 6 years. It was called a lockup, because they wanted to discourage speculation and they wanted to encourage long-time thought processes. They've done away with that completely. So you can register a piece to resell with the Osmium Institute, and they will help match you to a buyer from any of their traders. And anyone is also free to put a piece up for sale at any time they want. Plus putting it into a piece of jewelry, and then selling it on. So that is a downside. It's not the liquidity is not proven. It's not known yet.
There we go. That answered a lot of questions. We need to hear some obstacles yet to overcome on this, or negativity about it.
I mean, as we grow, we expect to be able to improve the liquidity in the US for sure. Any clients that buy from us, if they do choose or need to sell, we will do everything we can to place their piece and resell it for them.
Having said that, though, is there also not a different style of market for the resale of high-end jewelry?
Yes, it is a different arena, and it is a longer term viewpoint for sure. Yeah.
So you have to have understanding before you get into anything. But the opportunity and available for opportunity right now, we're talking. You're not going to want to resell something you buy this year. You want to sell it this year. No. We're looking years down the road, and as long as the institute is continually working on it every year, that also will grow. Being it is still a new product and here to America, everything will grow year over year, along with the liquidity issue and availability issue will grow as more people and institutions see the availability and the potential of this, in my opinion.
The other thing I think that especially wealthy investors are looking for is consistent returns. I think most would be perfectly happy with a stable and steady 12 to 15% return. They don't need to see eye-popping, hundreds of percent returns and then lose 30% the next year.
Yeah. They want stability. Yeah. I mean, traditionally wealthy families, they'll buy forestry, where the value is adding by the rate of growth of the tree, which is, not rapid, it's consistent year on year.
An excellent analogy, and that's why the 15% year over year is very important to hear.
Yeah, and that's how rich families get rich, and more importantly, how they stay rich. They don't lose. That's Warren Buffett's 3 principles of investing, isn't it? First, do not lose your principal. Second, do not lose your principal. Third, do not lose your principal.
Yep. Return on investment's most important. Year over year shows stability or growth, even, especially during bad times.
If you have a 10% loss from that point, I believe it takes almost a 15% return to recover your loss.
I just seen a great comment from Silvershire there. Best not to get an Osmium wedding band for my next ex-wife.
Oh,
Fire a house and walk away.
Sorry about that.
That's hilarious. Oh dear.
What this allows you to do, Silver, is to get a smaller piece of osmium, set it in your own ring, increase the value, tell her the increased value, hand it to her. That way, you actually got it for like 1/10 the price that she can get rid of it for when you leave her. So you actually make out over buying a diamond, believe it or not.
Yep. Yeah, I have a friend, and he took a ring that he bought for his wife 40 years ago, and he wanted to trade up the diamond. He got back in dollar terms, face dollar terms, the amount he paid for the diamond 40 years ago.
Exactly. So 15% year over year times 40 years.
40 years, yeah.
Oh my God.
I know. It's like, now, is there a guarantee it will do this? No, of course there isn't.
There's the only guarantee is the history.
Yeah. But I mean, this stuff is the best, and every stacker needs this as their core position, needs to be silver.
Oh, most definitely.
But put 1 or 2% into the other metals, you're not going to be disappointed.
I think putting a decent percent, maybe even 5% into osmium, and even just to hold it until maybe you find someone who can do something in jewelry for them to take advantage of the price increase, is as stable an investment as buying actual bullion. Although you definitely should not replace bullion with this. It should, as Ian said, be added to your stack for the potential value.
Just seeing a question here by Shadow Work. So they make 4.5-inch discs. So this is a 3.5-inch disc. So the 4.5-inch discs are up to about $250,000. And then the bigger pieces are cut by laser. And then the pieces like that, this letter P, are cut with electrical discharge machine. So they put an incredibly high voltage through a wire that's finer than a human hair, and it sucks the metal away atom by atom without even touching the sides. So it cuts an incredibly fine line with a perfectly polished edge. That's why the more intricate shapes have a higher premium, because there's more offcuts that can't be cut into a smaller piece, and then they have to be put back through the process of crystallization. And so yes, they start from 4.5-inch discs. They feel they've peaked out. They've tried making bigger discs and kept having explosions, which were pretty dramatic. So they've decided to settle for a 4.5-inch disc as the optimum size they can produce. Interestingly, they can also do the crystallization over a pure carbon blank. So they have made some 3D objects, so you can crystallize evenly over a carbon blank. So potentially there's some interest there. You could theoretically make an osmium pearl, would be pretty spectacular. So actually I might have to talk to them about, I quite like the idea of an osmium pearl.
What is the backing used on that 1-ounce disc that you showed us?
Yes, this disc, there isn't a backing.
So that is the back part of the crystals.
Yeah. Can you see there's some crystalline? You can see some very fine crystallization there, and then there's some almost mirror finish. It's pure osmium.
Okay.
So I don't know what the floor of the oven is, for the better. I can't even think of the right word. I don't know what they coax it to crystallize on top of, but the osmium is pure.
Right on. I got Jake. You have any other questions you might want answered by Ian this evening, sir? He had a lot of great questions to me this afternoon that I couldn't answer. I'm hoping he can remember one of them.
Oh, this has been a great show. I've definitely learned a lot more than I was anticipating.
I'm glad. Thank you very much for taking your valuable time with us, Ian. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. I've just seen one more question there from Silvershire. Can it be polished? Well, it's actually more abrasive than diamond. So I'm not sure how. There'd be no reason to polish it, because in this crystalline form, it's the most reflective surface. So really the factors of what you make out of it are the there's the limit is one's imagination of what shape to cut from it, and then to choose the sparkle grade from 1 through 5, how fine or how coarse you want the sparkle. Or any jewelry stores to buy here in the US. So there is a major brand that are experimenting. So it will not, and probably a year and a half, and there will be a top US brand stocking it, selling it in jewelry.
I'm glad you were able to catch that.
We are doing our best as a small business. We're making pieces locally. We're selling pieces locally. We do have some friends in Texas and California who'll be doing the same. So yeah, we're steadily spreading it across the US in jewelry form as well as investment form.
And that's the opportunity I want everyone to look at, the 3 different ways that I've seen it. If you could perceive any one of those and the potential for this, at least to check into it further on your own to see if you'd be interested in getting into this, because it is new here in America, and they are looking for are you not looking for people to help get into this?
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I mean, they are very careful who they appoint as traders. It's a fairly long process, and they just want to check out that the product's going to be represented well and no crazy claims are going to be made about it. So yeah, in a similar way, it's like any high-end quality product wants to know that it's being represented properly.
Especially with what we've seen on TV lately.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of Bud Light specifically. Sorry, guys.
If I could interject for a moment, I just wanted to say that I would vote for Neil if you guys are looking for someone in the States.
Thank you, JM.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I was going to vote for POTUS.
Oh, I appreciate that vote still.
Yeah.
Yeah, I let people know politically. I take neither side of the aisle for the past 4 or 5 presidents. I voted for myself, so it's a non-issue for me. I think I can do a better job.
Easily, yeah.
I just don't have the money that it takes, to get the job.
I don't think you're as corruptible.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely not corruptible. I'd be one of those guys that brings back the president gets shot every 20 years.
I was just going to say, you'd be taking the bullet, yeah.
I'd pull a Kennedy and restart the whole thing. Hey, at least America would be safer, right?
Yeah, I think it's time. I mean, this is a great country. It's an awesome country. I made it my home. It's time we had real people in these positions,
I think it starts with local people, local positions, and that right there will square the whole thing away through time. I saw this coming with Perot, the way the news treated Perot back in the day. I was like, wow, we're in for a rough ride, and this is what it's come to. But it is what it is. This is about the opportunity of crystal osmium. That's what this is about, and I do appreciate everyone being here. Please share this out so other people see this as well, because this is a unique opportunity. I hope you guys see it the way I see it, and the way Ian sees it, and the way the great German guy who, thank
Ingo
God,
Wolf.
sold to do this for us.
Yeah, if I can just say one more thing. I did say to Ingo Wolf and Scarlett Klaus, they've been working their butts off for 10 years, 18 hours a day. I did say, do you know what? They're giving us an opportunity to stand on the shoulders of giants. They brought this to market. It's incredible what they've done against all the odds, for sure.
Yeah. And I see this incredible opportunity, and I thank you for being here to answer questions to everyone here spent their time coming to chat. I appreciate every one of you. Again, share this out to your friends. This is information that needs to get out. And the sooner this gets adopted, the quicker all of us can start, if we see the opportunity, make money off this before it can't be made anymore. Once it's gone, all you're going to have is finding it on estate sales, and wife got divorced from her millionaire husband and wants to sell his stuff. That kind of thing's how you're going to get a hold of this in 10 years, 15 years. So You know, that's a long-term vision from an iron worker there for you. But
it's great that someone as practical as you is in the community. I really appreciate it, Neil. It's
I appreciate the opportunity you brought us and seeing what you saw when you saw it. And I thank you. I actually I rubbed this into Long Live Coins. I know I wish he was up here so I could rub it in again. About you gave me that was it a 1/4 ounce Noah's Ark silver coin after the first interview I did with you. And I asked him what you gave him just to rub it in a little bit.
He did pretty well when he came to visit the store. He's there.
He should be up on the panel here so we could rag him a little bit.
Yeah,
Thanks, Long Live. I appreciate you hanging out, brother.
Yeah, and thanks to Long Live Coins. Like, I think he was the first person that I knew of that kind of really brought this and specifically Ian to the table.
He came looking for silver and he found osmium. Yeah,
he's the one who re-inspired me to go at getting you on to re-interview the right way, which is the second time. It should have been the first time. But that was my fault. I was a eager beaver and elated to finally meet someone that I'd only seen on YouTube, and that was you. And I was like too excited and did a crappy job with the first interview I did. And then, like I said, my own vanity, I stuck it in the back burner. I never should have done that had it not been for Long Live Coins interviews with you. But yeah, I don't know what I would have done. You know, I wouldn't be here interviewing you now. So I appreciate Long Live Coins interviewing you.
Well, it's a great journey we started. So, and I appreciate all of you guys.
It's going to be a fun ride next couple of years. I think now is the greatest of opportunities to get in. I've hopefully started to pay to get my collection up of stuff that I'm going to be turning into jewelry and getting out to people and having offered at the, as does the rest of the YouTube channels. I guess you've got some link underneath where you offer stuff that you sell. That's where I'll be selling it eventually. And I'm sure other people will as well. And that's why I'm glad you're here. And so hopefully other people will as well take advantage of this opportunity that can create you wealth. And since again, relation to stackers, everyone talks about generational wealth. Well, yeah. I bring up, we're talking crystallized osmium. It's 1,500 times more rare than gold. And if you're talking jewelry, then we're talking, it's similar if you create a nice enough piece to say the crown jewels. Yeah. And the inherent value that you pass to your children had you had the queen's crown or her scepter. And you get an opportunity now to create something as unique and inheritable.
And the chances are there'll only be one of those pieces.
10-4, and that makes the value. That makes the value go up even higher. So the unique opportunity that this is presenting to the stacking community, if you can realize the similarity, even though it's different, the similarity you have in values of stacking to the opportunity that osmium presents. I mean, you could either go out and buy the queen's jewel for $1 million, or you can get a piece of osmium, create your own jewelry, and when your grandkid gets it, it's $10 million. And you want inheritable wealth through your stacking. This is inheritable wealth that continues to gain even more so year over year than the precious metals does. I'd love to see silver gain 15% year over year. I mean, it wouldn't be 22 now, just for 2 years.
I actually just came up with one possible downside for some stackers.
Okay.
And I think that is what would you call it, like privacy or anonymity? They can lose their precious metals in a boating accident, but if you're buying a large amount of osmium, you want that tracking in there. And so it's going to be for assets that you'd have, on the table anyway.
But potentially visible. I mean, I know their system is very secure, and when you buy a piece, you choose whatever email you want. So you could have just an email just for that ownership. But yes, I do agree there. If you lost it, it would be hard to find it again in the future, wouldn't it? So at least with silver, you can lose it in a boating accident, and miraculously you can find it later. So
Yeah. That's right. But the
that's
storage
great.
ability of it, I think, far outweighs that too. Like you're not going to have any storage issues.
no, I mean, literally in Switzerland, there is a vault where they have a tube that goes down. So there's a secure vault, multi-layered security, multi-layered structural concrete steel. Then within that, there's this system of tubes that go down 200 feet. And in the bottom of that, they have a stack of these. You know, many, many millions of dollars worth, unstealable. So its wealth density actually adds a value to it.
Yep. Agreed.
This has been most informative, and I thought I liked crystallized osmium before. I even like it more now.
Oh, Seth there says he wants it attached to a gold chain. So one thing I didn't mention is actually goldsmiths love working with it. It's very robust. It's very easy to set, and even the intricate shapes, you can order them with a stainless steel template. So your goldsmith will have a stainless steel template. He can fashion all of the mounting and then finally mount the osmium in it. So because it's very robust, it really lends itself to being set in gold, white gold, platinum, silver. It functions very, very well for jewelry construction.
Did you want me to share a screen from Biosmium website to show some?
Sure. Yeah. That will show you the menu of how to get to all the pieces to see which pieces are available. Yeah.
Okay.
And you're going to have to give me a second to get it to full screen.
No worries.
Add to stage. Would that be it right there?
That's
Yep.
it.
Hot dog! Yee!
So, symbols.
Oh, wow.
I don't know. I can click on them. There's a violin.
That's it. And that will tell you what's in stock and the order descriptions.
That's in euro, but yeah, you can switch it to US dollars.
Yeah. And that's the retail, and I think that's including 19% German sales tax. So we import it tax-free as well. We don't have to pay an import tax.
That's actually important.
It's substantial, yeah.
Yeah.
What would be the closest for something that jewelers would work with? Like they could work with that.
Go back to that stars right there. The stars, that one there. If you go probably to that one or the one to the left would be the best, I would think, for a jeweler to work with. The little square and circle.
So they will definitely be expanding the range of pieces available.
Oh, look at the purple in that.
Yeah.
That is freaking gorgeous. They took that picture in the sunlight. If you had that as an earring or a nose ring or a chain on your neck, glowing like that 50 yards away.
So they have these in all different sizes too, right? Going from 0.3
Different
grams.
weights. Yeah. So if you click along on the eye in the circle next to the size, you see there's a little eye in the circle. That will pull up. That will tell you the sparkle grade.
See, that's a 2 right there.
That's awesome. You guys can see that. It's small on my screen here. But yeah, so you can see there's. It looks like they've got quite the selection.
Yeah.
I'm enamored by the blue and the purple and that just glittering back. That's
it is the only precious metal, isn't it? It has a beautiful blue colors to it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And this would be rigid too, right?
Yeah. So those are designed so you buy them in a strip, and then your jeweler can literally snap off if you wanted to use 1 or 2 or 3. So those they've ingeniously used. Those are the offcuts from cutting the discs.
Yep.
And this is right here is why it is the best for jewelry right now rather than stacking, although maybe later on, as Ian said, he's trying to get him to develop something for the stacking community. This is why I feel it's best use right now is in new jewelry as far as return on investment. And they are offering this stuff for people to do exactly that.
Yeah.
It's
this
an opportunity.
This is what a few people were saying they figured would be the most popular.
Yeah, I managed. I got one in the other day and it sold. I don't think I had it for more than a day. Somebody saw it and bought it.
Very cool.
And you could do all sorts. You could surround that with gold. I've got lots of ideas of how to do that. I think you could surround that with gold, and you could put it in black walnut, all sorts of things.
I'm thinking, I'm wondering if it could be formed like, the gemstones that are already set in jewelry. Could you get it like a little ball?
Yeah, I mean, I was said earlier, they have crystallized it over a carbon form. I think somebody wanted a cat, and they did make a cat, a 3D cat. It looked a bit cheesy to me, but there's no theoretically they could make a 3D shape for sure. Yeah, I think you could do sort of tetrahedron or pyramid shapes. That could be really effective for sure. Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah. So Silver Shy is asking what the sparkle grade is. So 1 is the finest, so that'll be the finished pieces and a fine crystallization, going through to 5, which is the larger crystals. So they're both as reflective, but the coarser the crystalline structure, the further you see that sparkle, the further the distance. I mean, this piece, we had this at the store in the summer, and we held it about 100 feet away, and it's hard to look at in full sunlight 100 feet away. It's sending all of the sunlight straight back at you.
That's why I think it's good for jewelry. The smaller pieces are affordable. If you don't want to spend $10,000 on your whatever the diamond anniversary is for your wife, or the silver anniversary for a ring for your wife, and you get one of these yourself, and just think the meaning of it to her. If you had it made for her, and yourself, think of the money you're saving as to added value that you're gaining. It's a win-win. Your wife's happy. If mama's not happy, you're not happy. You're happy because you didn't spend $10,000. You spent $1,500 to get a $20,000 ring.
Yeah.
And she's happy she got a $20,000 ring.
And very likely it's going to be a one-off as well. Yeah,
most likely, indeed. Yeah. Jake was asking the price of those letters, and I know one time I saw you had about $140 for that thickness and size that you had, I believe was the average.
Yeah, so the uppercase I's start around $70, and you go up to about $200 for the thicker sparkle grades for like a letter M. So yeah, sort of $70 to $200 is the range for the uppercase letters.
That's pretty good. 140 was the average.
Yeah.
Or the mean, if you're.
Yeah, and they do numbers as well. So you have a lucky 7.
7.
Yeah.
Here you go, JM7.
That's right on. I just dropped a link there for the last screen that I was sharing. One with
excellent. Thank you very much.
Reference. You're welcome.
And it's pretty quick getting it in from Germany now. We can get it in as little as 7 business days from the time we place the order to time it clears customs, and we get it here in Wyoming.
I'll probably be placing another order here within a week or two for a little bigger squares than I got this time, the last time.
Be warned, it is addictive when you see it in sunlight. There's sort of no going back once you've seen it in the sun.
I see things differently. I see the profit potential if I just get it done, and I see the profit potential. And again, during these economic bad times, to see such a deal like that, I don't know if I'm the only one that sees. Obviously I'm not, because people are doing it, but I see nothing but opportunity. There are some holdbacks because of the newness of it, and that's kind of sort of to be expected. But it is the newness of it. It's not an issue because it's got issues. It's just because it's new and not 100% known. So therefore, it doesn't have all of the stuff that things are that 100% known, like LCSs know about gold. So everyone knows. But as soon as more people start finding out about crystallized osmium, it's going to be the same. And if you're already in and you already have it and you're already doing it, you're only going up, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it could open a whole business opportunity, designing and making pieces. No, for sure. And I think for the precious metals dealers who adopt it early, it can only help their overall business.
Again, appreciated value year over year in and of itself will help them in their bottom line, because I know most LLCs work on smallest of percentages, single digit percentages. Have something that's a double digit percentage.
Yeah,
I couldn't see it as anything but an asset, not a liability to anyone. So I mean, I've been trying to poke holes in. There are some minor kinks in this, but from a business aspect, looking at it, trying to tear it apart, why it wouldn't work.
Yeah,
I can't find one. I only see little hiccups that will be solved.
Yeah,
and nothing that would deter any sound individual who knows about either business, jewelry, precious metals, wouldn't see the opportunity that this presents, in my opinion.
No, I totally agree with that, Neil. I mean, I worked construction 40 years. I know what it's like to work hard to survive. And I've worked even harder on the precious metals for the last 3.5 years. So it's I wouldn't be investing the amount of time and effort we put into this. So I wasn't 100% certain. It is a great prospect for even a medium-term tangible asset. And the Osmium Institute always ask us to describe it as a long-term tangible asset, and I can see their caution there. But I would say
with those numbers, it's hard not to do BDO.
Exactly.
It's just hard.
Well, I think it should be looked at as generational. Like, I don't in any way think it should be traded. Like, I still like the idea of if you want to promote it, say it's the good steady runner.
Yeah,
you're never going to lose.
And that's where the stacking community should love it, for the generational wealth. Again, I think of if I did have, say, for example, if I did have a daughter, they love wearing these little crown pieces around. I would love to spend a couple of $1,000s on some squares of osmium and have her one made that she could have her daughter and her daughter could have her daughter, and it just be passed down exactly
forever.
Like
it's going to be durable. It'll be durable.
It would be the wealth value of that by the great granddaughter would be, she could buy an island and still have, I mean, talk about generational wealth. That's where the stacking community should see the advantages of this individual opportunity, in my opinion.
Yep. And it is the perfect princess material, isn't it? For sure.
Oh my gosh, man. I was thinking that, what are those, tiaras, I think they're called?
Tiaras.
Imagine.
Yeah.
And then put that in the same thought of the queen's jewels. The queen had on her head jewels and a crown that was over 150 years old.
Yeah.
Nick's coins might like to have one.
You see what I'm saying? You already know people who buy it. I mean,
I've got a quick question for you.
It's just, go ahead, James. I'm sorry.
Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead, Neil, but I do have a question when you're done.
Go ahead. I had nothing to say of value.
Oh, sorry, man. No, I was going to ask, do you think that if you had a substantial amount of osmium purchased through the way that we're talking about, that you could take that to a bank and use it as collateral, 1-to-1 or at all?
It is perfect for that. And on that sort of theme, it could well be the ultimate money, being so cracked, so unforgeable, practically you can't steal it and then claim it on the open market.
Right.
So it actually even creates more definition of money than actually exists, doesn't it? If you think of its wealth density, is pretty well unrivaled. So absolutely, I mean, I do know European family offices are trading amongst each others, and they use it as 100% trusted transfer.
So worst case, they would see it as great collateral.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So Yeah, no. I think the uses for that and wearable collateral, if you want to, if you have it made into a watch or piece of jewelry, and yeah, in the same way that fine jewelry can be used as collateral. People do borrow against their jewelry collections for sure.
And again, if you make jewelry out of this, again, it would most likely be one-off and gain value. So why would you not be able to use it as collateral? Because people who are smart enough to get in the game of loaning see value. So I don't see if an institution wouldn't accept it, I wouldn't trust that institution, because they don't see properly as far as their investments, and they're probably going to go under because of the improper sites of investments.
And it possibly has some incredible security applications.
Like I said, it's the crypto of the PM universe.
Yeah, I mean, if you had a 2 millimeter square on a key, and that key went into a lock and it had a laser reader, there's no way you could pick that lock, is there? It would only open if it had that one piece of osmium. Can never be duplicated.
You could set a computer there for a couple hundred years and it would get it eventually, but it's not something that could be done before you're going to come back and find out someone's trying to break into your safe.
Yeah, I don't know if you could actually replicate it.
Well, you go off algorithms, and if you have an algorithm of options, it's only a matter of time. As they say, I use the analogy: if you have 1,000 monkeys on a computer, one of them will spell a word properly eventually.
Yeah, but they won't write a book.
No, he won't. But one will eventually spell a word properly. So
yeah,
you still have the odds of chance over time if you put enough energy into it. So over time, a computer algorithm, maybe 10, 20 years could probably do something. But in that point in time, what behind there is worth it that you'd spend that kind of time to pick? So I think it would probably be a real good security lock. Have it on a ring, and it's like your eye sockets. They do the eye things. Have it on your ring, stick your ring there instead, and open the door.
Yeah, that's could be a great application if there's anyone out there who wants to develop that.
It's a developable option.
Do you see osmium tattoos in the future?
Oh, embedded.
I'm just kidding.
Probably, yeah.
Eventually down the line, there might be probably the first thing you see is a piece of jewelry
or dentistry.
So beautiful that they'll.
I can see a rapper getting some osmium squares into their teeth for sure. Yeah.
It'd be one of those rentable things like the platinum teeth. Actually, Silvershire, Ian has one.
He showed that. He showed a watch with it in the face.
Oh, yeah. Here we go. Silvershire. Let me put the artificial sunlight on it.
Bring it as close to the camera as you can. Yeah, there we go.
You know, Rolex might be interested in doing a few models with it.
Very nice.
So Ulysses Nardine, Hubbell, some of the real mega Swiss watchmakers are using it. Some of their watches are selling for $400,000. So it's already well in the upper end watches. This is a new company called Oon. So I think these start around the 30,000.
So I have not seen any websites yet that are offering those watches.
Yeah, I mean, the Ulysses Nardine, they made 18, and I think they sold out pretty well instantaneously. There was another brand announced they were going to do a small edition, and then they sold out before they even started making them. So they never seem to reach. They never really get advertised.
Small enough market, a lot enough money. You don't
Yeah.
need marketing. And if you're
No.
sold out before you start, and that is crystallized osmium market as I see it.
Yeah.
It's going to be sold before it's made, guys. It's going to be sold before it's made. If you have it and you want to stack it, hold it in whatever form Ian's going to send me my stuff in, just hold it in that form for 5 years, then make your jewelry. You'll probably make 10,000 fold the money you're going to make if you do the jewelry now. Because the scarcity of this only goes down. It's just opportunity, guys.
So ideally, you just want to buy a disc. Why not just buy a disc like that?
Ideally, if you have the money, yeah.
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 But the great thing is, guys, and I will show you when I do my osmium opening, my reveal when I get mine in. I'll show you the form I got it in, and you'll be amazed. You'll be like, I can get that? Oh my God. And you're probably going to jump on it, and you'll understand what I'm talking about as far as the opportunity. Even if you just hold on to it and you want to be like, have the mindset of a stacker and hold it and not do nothing with it, whoever you pass it down to in that form will be very grateful if they understand they can make jewelry with it, because there will be none around in 20 years. And if you offer a new piece of jewelry never before seen in 20 years of some of this stuff, where do you want your grandkids to retire?
Yeah. I just seen a comment there by Seth Shepard. I don't know if you saw the big disc. So the comparison to diamonds is, to do that with diamonds, you'd have to set tens of thousands of separate diamonds, which would have zero commodity value and would take a tremendous amount of labor. But with the osmium, cut a shape out like that, that would take probably 1,000 diamonds to make that, and it wouldn't have the reflectivity. So that has the advantage that way. You're just getting a whole lot more sparkle than you can possibly in diamond.
That, and this isn't a manipulated fake market like diamonds are.
No, and yes, it's a natural monopoly, but it's common geological knowledge, the scarcity of osmium. I mean,
it's 1,500 times more rare
than gold. And one of the initial experimental uses was light bulb filaments, but they worked out this was just going to be too expensive. Hence the name Osram light bulbs. The OS is from osmium, and the RAM is from wolfram for tungsten. They started using a tungsten osmium alloy, but it was too expensive.
Yeah, I couldn't see paying for a light bulb that had osmium, crystallized osmium in it. So I'd be concerned someone would steal my light bulb.
Yeah. Yeah, well, they're stealing catalytic converters, aren't they, for the palladium?
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, the melting point of platinum is what, like 6,700 degrees? You know how expensive it is to smelt down those little beads for a catalytic converter? Oh my God, they're not making no money doing it. I don't even see why they try.
Yeah.
It's twice as hot as gold to melt that stuff. And I think if you want to get it to a boiling point, it's like 7,000 or 8,000 degrees.
Yeah, it's 9,000 Fahrenheit for
9
to get it into a vapor. Yeah, to boil it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a great opportunity. I appreciate your insight when you got into this to be able to allow me to see it, to bring this to my subscribers, and more importantly, so I could find out or get more confirmation of what I already knew about this stuff. Looking forward to the future. It is looking very bright, and that's not even with osmium in my face.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'm going to end this with Ian, guys, unless you guys have any other questions, or if anyone wants to come on panel to ask Ian directly, now is your opportunity. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and cut this off. I know Ian has a very, very busy life and would probably rather be doing other things than sitting here with us guys.
No, it's been a pleasure. It is. I've just found this whole community just incredible, high quality people, just, hardworking, honest people. It's a great community. It really is.
The stackers are a unique type of person. It's definitely one of the 3% as far as attitudes. There's independent. Hey, can we get independent mini up here to ask any questions about crystal osmium. She has her own channel. It's a good channel. She is a big supporter of mine.
Hey, Andy, good to see you. But you know what? I think you could put almost any question into the chat, and it's going to be earlier on in the stream. I think we covered pretty much all the bases.
Same here. Same here. No, this was excellent. The informative amount of information back and forth filled in a lot of gaps, and just confirmed I'm going to give Ian another order in a couple weeks.
If there's any left.
Well, like I said, order. I didn't say I was going to get any. I'll order it. So when it does come in, I'll be the first one to get it. You can hold on to the money until it comes in.
Yeah, just saw that comment from Gerald Draper there. Osmium was isolated in 1804, so it's 220 years ago. But it's only the last 10 years has been a real practical application for it through the Osmium Institute and all the work the scientists did to get the crystallization process refined. But yeah, it's brand new, but it's been around, as a known metal for 220 years.
It is.
I'll ask one more question. Okay, you have the fixed items already made, and there's a cost.
Yeah.
But if you wanted something customized, what percentage more would it cost you?
It really does depend on the size. The bigger the piece, the lower the premium, if any. And it does depend on the shape. I mean, the more the shapes will tessellate, i.e. leave minimal or no wastage, the lower or the premium will be. But they do have a very quick process. It can be as quick as 10 days once they've got the size and you've agreed the price point. And you can ask.
And the 1 through 5 quality, 1 through 5.
The sparkle.
Yeah, the sparkle grade. Yeah.
Hey, Ian, could you show that watch and the disc again? Independent Many just got here. We're talking about osmium. So the osmium's in the center of that watch. There's the disc. And that disc, I think I'm getting closer, about 75,000.
Yeah, I think at $35 a gram, it's about $76,000 that piece.
It reminds me maybe more than diamonds, a druzy. You know what druzy is? Gemstone?
I don't.
Oh, if you ever see druzy, it'll remind you of that.
I've actually never heard of that either. I do know this is a Platinum Group's metal. So,
but don't let the price tag of that scare people off. The smallest pieces start around $20.
do you have that letter?
Yeah, we got a letter P. So they do the whole alphabet. So these are sort of between, on average, $140. Does depend on the letter and the sparkle grade, which correlates to the thickness of the piece. And they do a whole 1 to 9 in the numbers, as well as a couple of hundred other different shapes.
Hey, Neil, I've got that screen shared again, so we can just. I know you want to end this.
No. I actually don't want to end it.
That ring there, we had that in the store for a week. There was a British designer to design that. It was just stunning in platinum, just incredible.
Yeah, platinum. I actually would love to have a picture of that violin, not the violin osmium. They actually had a violin made. Oh my God, that's a beautiful dominoes.
Is that embedded in a gold domino?
It is. That's the most expensive set of dominoes.
Yeah. Ian,
gorgeous.
Where have you been all my life?
Look at the purple and aqua bluish green. Oh my God, the coloring is better than a diamond on that stuff, dude.
But so yeah, like that's expensive. But what Ian was saying is like for these, I think I switched it to US dollars. So these, 0.3 grams is about 834 US.
And the pieces go down as small as 2mm squares. So up in that top menu, you should find
The smaller ones.
yeah, you should find squares somewhere. If you go,
Yeah, small.
keep going on that top menu bar, you'll find squares. Maybe in bars, maybe it's in the first section in the bars. There we go.
Yeah,
There you go.
there it is.
That's 7mm.
Okay, and I want 2mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys, I never
There you
saw
go.
this part of it before. So $23,
Yeah.
$24.
Wouldn't that
Yeah,
make a nice earring?
Neil bought all of the lighter weight ones, so they're sold out, the lighter weight ones.
Sorry, guys. I see opportunity. I jump.
But it sounds small, 2mm, and it is, but you still get a kick of a sparkle out
The
of those
bling
pieces.
off of that from distance is well worth it.
Yeah.
It replaces a diamond at a fraction of the cost
Yeah.
and increases the visibility at a further distance, even better than a diamond.
Yeah.
So these, it looks like these start at 170.
Yeah, we've got some in stock from around 140. Yeah.
Is there anything else you wanted me to show on here?
I think you've covered across. It's
Yeah.
pretty
What are
well.
those triangles?
The large
Yeah,
one?
they do a 3mm triangle down on the bottom
Yeah, 3mm. Let's see that one.
to the far right.
There we go.
126, 127.
You have a lot of those in stock?
No, but we can get pretty well every ink in about 7 days. It's pretty quick now,
Okay.
getting them from
Okay.
Germany. Those would work well. You could put those together to make I can see those using those to make a pyramid. those triangles.
Yep, 4 of them would be perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I've seen that too, bro. That's probably going to be my next order. A lot of those.
Fox, $700.
So that gives an example of how intricate it can be cut. There's just no way you could make that with diamonds.
But I could see that being inset on a
Yeah.
pendant or
Yeah.
or something like that.
On an opal.
The
With that-
letters look the uppercase letters look great in 14 karat gold with a very delicate setting. They're great for necklaces. And they would look great in rings as well. You could have your initial in a ring. I think that would make it pretty cool.
Yeah, the ring was on your website. Yeah.
Did they have a picture of that violin with osmium on it?
I think they did.
That's a beautiful piece.
That was a custom piece. They actually made a curved sections of osmium to make that. That was a tricky piece to make.
It's a gorgeous piece. That's a nice ring too. Imagine that in rhodium and platinum.
Yeah.
I like the idea of the discs. You know, the full size discs. They're the largest ones they can make.
Yeah, 4.5 inches. Yeah, this is a 3.5. This one.
Look at the crystalline structure of that's what gives it its fingerprint.
Yeah. Every square millimeter has 10,000 more recognition points than a human fingerprint.
Fantastic.
I like it. I hope everyone sees the opportunity that's this company's providing for all of us.
I think it's just as strong. It's the most dense element, Indy.
Oh, yeah. So independent, Mani, United. What's the strength of osmium? So osmium, I think, is the highest compressibility factor, but partly because it's the densest element. So it's got the greatest resistance to crashing. It would make the ultimate submarine, except there's not enough of it to make a submarine. It's more abrasive than diamond, interestingly. It's not quite as hard on the hardness scale. It's sort of very close. It overlaps. Some diamonds are softer than others. But yeah, it's fascinating. It's actually more abrasive than diamond. And it's robust in this form. It's not, doesn't crumble. You know, I haven't tried to bend this one, but that feels more rigid than a piece of steel the same thickness.
Also, the reflectiveness of it in the sunlight is overwhelms diamonds by far.
It's the perfect mirror. I mean, obviously, it can't be quite perfect, but I guess you could hold it in sunlight and see how long it takes to heat up. That would give you an indication of how much it's reflecting. If it's reflecting all of the sun's wavelengths, that would be an interesting experiment, I guess.
Well, very good. Thanks for having this, Neil, and of course, Long Live Coins as well, and Ian. And it was great to see you, Nickel, and everyone in the chat. I'm going to drop down now, but I do appreciate it. I think that's fantastic. Anyone that didn't see from the beginning, we had a couple technical issues for, I think, the first 5 minutes with echo. But if you just go to the first 5 minutes in and rewatch, all the answers will be questions will be answered in there.
I hope we got to all of them. I know a lot of people were talking to me, wanting me to ask questions. I probably missed quite a few. I'm hoping they got answered as well in the chat. Highlighted questions, and I know I learned a little bit. I actually knew a whole lot already. I'm already all in on this one, guys, and I just want to bring you guys the same opportunity that I see that I'm already taking advantage of, and I hope that other people do the same, such as Long Live Coins and hopefully a few others. And thank you very much, Ian and Nickel and JM Unleashed, for being here. And go ahead and end this one, and maybe hopefully get you back again more regularly, Ian.
Sure. Yeah. Let's. Yeah, when we got some designs going.
There we go.
You told me a bit about your ideas, but once you get some drawings done and get some maybe 3D rendering, that'd be cool to start sharing. Ideas, get some creativity going.
Yep. Show the community the possibilities that are available for this stuff for sure. If honestly, everyone should see the opportunities there. But if not, like Ian said, once I get some design drawings and whatnot for what I plan on doing, maybe that'll inspire even more people to get involved, which is why we're here doing this, to get more people in on it. Thank every one of you for being here. Be kind, helpful, and grateful. Like, share, and subscribe. Definitely share, if nothing else, man. This is some great information. And thanks, Nickel and JM and Ian. And we'll go ahead and call it a night, guys. Thank you very much.
Good night, everybody.
Have a good night, everyone.
Good night.
You want to hang out for, let's see if I can't get a backstage thing going here.
I am going to take off, but it was great chatting with both of you. Fantastic show. And
thank you.
We'll see you soon.
I couldn't have done this without you, JM. Thank you for narrating for me.
Oh, yeah, you could. Have a good night, guys.
And you.
Thanks for being here, Andy. I don't know how to do this backstage thing.
I can see you.
Yeah, I can see you too. Just wanted to make sure that we're online for that order of the platinum I put in.
Yeah.
It's good to go. Right on.
Here it is.
Right on. Excellent. And I'll be calling you probably, I said, within a couple of weeks to get some of those triangle pieces, because like you, I see some options there that we could probably collaborate on.
Yeah, it's a great shape to work with. Yeah. And,
about those the earrings, they also double as nose rings, because that seems to be a big thing nowadays.
Yeah.
You know, I'm seeing a lot here, brother. But we'll talk later. Everyone, have a great night. Thank you very much for giving me your time, sir.
You're welcome.
Hopefully we'll have more time with each other in the future, and it'll be as beneficial for both of us.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a crew. I've got to come down to San Diego to visit. So you're in.
I'm right off 80, bro. I'm right off. As you're going through the Bay Area in Vallejo.
Yeah.
As soon as you hit 780, if you take 780 west, you're a mile. You're a mile from my house going down that road, 1 block away. from my house because I'm 1 block off that road.
Yeah, I think California is probably a perfect place to launch products of this. You know.
Yeah, I see the same thing. Yeah, we actually should talk more about that. I know we're live, JM. I just wanted to chat with my bud here. Hopefully, I can call you my bud. All right, Ian. I'll talk to you later. I'm on this live stream for both of us. Have a great evening. Thank you for being here, and I hope to maybe make it at least a monthly thing, even if it takes me a little bit. It won't take me that long for the designs. They're going to be simple designs. I can talk to my friend next door. But other than that, I'd like it to be at least a monthly thing where I could have you on my show. And also maybe on maybe get Long Live Coins up here next time.
Yeah, thanks for taking the time as well.
Hey, man, I enjoyed the heck out of it. Thanks for looking at this crappy background behind me, too.
I'm in my wife's office, so don't worry.
Right on. I'll talk to you later, brother. Everyone in the chat, be good.
Good evening.